And welcome to episode 3 of A Few Good Nerds podcast. How's everyone going out there? I'm your host, Ed. Follow along with my two co-hosts, John and Dan. Say hello, guys.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey, guys, how you doing?
And also our very special guest, hardcore gamer extraordinaire and belly dancer master himself, Benny. What's going on, Benny?
Hello.
So the two games we're going to be talking about today are The Witcher 3 and Overwatch. I'm a really big RPG fan, so I will be covering the majority of The Witcher 3, while as a whole, we're going to be talking about Overwatch. So the first thing we're going to go into is The Witcher 3. So what is The Witcher 3? It is your RPG, third-person, hack-and-slash, magic casting, loot finding, Gwent grinding, gear finding game. It's amazing. The original game has roughly around 200 hours of content, while the expansions cover between the first one about 10 hours and the second one, which is 20 to 40 hours. We're going to be talking today mainly about the second one. If I had to compare the new expansion area compared to the old area, I would say it's far more colorful. When you look at Velen and Skellige, it is very dark, it's very rainy, and when you go into Toussaint, where the new area is located, it's very bright. It's got the characteristics of France and Italy into the game. That's where the writer got his inspiration for it, which I'm assuming. So the main quest is called the Beast of Beauclair. I'm probably butchering that name, but that's the area that it takes place in. So it's pretty much some guy or something has been going around and ravaging people, murdering them, and they've been killing knights in particular. So Her Highness herself, the Duchess, Anna Henrietta, is the one who calls you over to do this quest. So you get this mission, and in its typical Geralt NCIS style, goes around investigating for clues. So you pretty much go through, you have to go from place to place, like a typical Witcher 3 fashion, and you go from place to place, and you investigate, and you follow along. The game has quite a bit of quests. I would say I found about 4 Witcher contracts and about roughly 50 or so other side missions. So there's plenty to do in the game. All the new characters you face or you actually talk with are from the books mainly. There's not a lot of stuff from the previous games that I noticed. So one of the guys who's with you mostly is Regis. He's a higher vampire from the books. And if you didn't read the books, actually, I highly recommend going and read the books. You'll actually learn some backstory between his involvement with Geralt, and also Anna Henrietta is also another character from the books. Going back to the quest part, there's a couple good. The main quest itself is phenomenal. I definitely think it's one of the better quest chains that I played in the game, and the side quests are actually pretty great. One of my favorite ones is Eloquent Ghosts. Is where actually you take some mushrooms and you get high as a kite and you're talking to your horse and your horse talks to you. And it's actually probably by far one of the funniest quests in the game compared to the Witcher 3, the original, the drunk quest where you try on Yennefer's clothing and try to summon some sorceresses for a giant orgy. And so we have also Geralt's house. He was gifted the house from the Duchess, which is from Anna Henrietta. It was part of the mainline quest. And so for you RPG fans, you can actually spend some time and make the house look pretty. You can actually add an armory, a nice stable for Roach. You can pimp out your bedroom with all your trophies and nude paintings as such. You can also display all your armors and weapons, which is pretty cool because I had a lot of stuff in my inventory that I wanted to show off because I actually took the time and crafted all the high-end Witcher armor, so I put it on display. But that was that. And also, it's a really good time consumer, too. I spent at least a good 2-3 hours on this pimping out my house. You have a new deck. It was supposed to have been introduced in 2014 with the original game, but the developers decided to leave it out for the time being, and they put it into the expansion. So, the Skellige deck, it's interesting. It's not like your traditional Northern Realms or your Nilfgaardian Empire deck. It's got some play type like Monster and Scoia'tael, and with some high-powered cards. So, you can't just throw a bunch of random cards in there. You kind of gotta hope for like you pull out a Saris, or you hope you get you use your hero card a little bit better. It's a tricky deck. I can say it took me a couple games to figure it out. I mean, all you hardcore Gwent fans out there will definitely like the introduction of it. Some people say they didn't like it. Some people say they did. There's the actual tournament in this, the Gwent tournament in this game, in this expansion, requires you to only play with the Skellige deck. So you kind of gotta learn the deck. You can actually, when you go to your house as a guy, a Moso Domo or Moro Domo, you could keep playing him and with your deck and just get some practice, which I highly recommend. So I'm going to spoil a little bit of the main quest, not too much. I'll try to not to give away too many things. So pretty much you're playing along and you find Regis, who kind of tells you who the monster is. It's one of his BFF. So you kind of have to figure out what's his motive. So as you start progressing along, you start to find out it's a whole big ordeal, something involving the Duchess's sister. I'll leave leave it at that right there. You have to figure out yourself. So you can either do traditional style, you can just play through the game and get the worst ending, which a lot of people did, or you can actually take the time and do the investigative Geralt, which is like, talk, figure out things. It's not bad. I would definitely say, it follows along the same Witcher, the original Witcher 3. 2 good endings and 1 bad. I mean, I picked the Empress Witcher. I think it filled the lore way more compared to the other one, and that's how I felt personally. And then with this one, there's really one only happy ending. I'm not going to ruin it for you. If you want to ruin it, I'll tell you right now, spoiler alert, just fast forward right now, spoiler alert. There's Anna and her sister dies. They both live, and there's one that her sister dies. So the only real good ending is the middle ending. But with the middle ending, your boy Regis has to flee because he's getting chased by vampires. I'll leave it at that. At the end of the game, you get a quest, and depending on who your love interest was in the original game, and how you try the tag team, Yennefer and Triss at the same time, which ends up in a failure, and depending if Ciri becomes a Witcher or the Empress, it depends on what happens at the ending. So I followed lore-wise. I stayed with Yennefer. So another spoiler alert right here. So pretty much when you go to the end of the game and you go to your house, you go in there, and then in traditional Yennefer fashion, somebody barges into your house and the guy has no idea, and you go in there, it's Yennefer. So pretty much, long story short, you get a happy ending. She moves in with you, and you have this dope vineyard, and you're planting wine and doing the old sexy time. Game is extremely fun. The expansion, there's a lot to do. If you're a big fan of the books and you read the books, you're gonna really love this area. This is a phenomenal way to end the game.
Is Geralt the only character you play in the game throughout the start of the game and up to the last expansion? Is he the only character you can play?
In Vanilla Witcher, the original Witcher, it's Geralt, and you have some portions of the game you play as Ciri, his adopted daughter. And pretty much Ciri's this OP badass of a chick. She goes around hacking and slashing. You don't really have cool magic abilities, but you have some nice dashes and everything. She's pretty OP. The main story involves her, so it's pretty much a huge thing revolving around. I mean, I can spend an hour talking about the main Witcher game. It was great though. I mean, I think this was just, like I said, the characters were, I wish you could have played a second character in the expansion. I mean, I'm glad the way it turned out. I have no complaints with it.
So from like a 1 to 10, what would you rate the game?
I gotta give it out of a 1 to 10, I had to give it 100. I'm a real big Witcher fan. I'm a diehard fan, and I feel that it really followed really closely along the books. They gave some play here and there, but I think that lore-wise and visualizing the new area, they did a phenomenal job. And as sad as I am that it's the end of the Geralt story, it was just a really good game. There's no hands down. It was, no question without about it. It was probably one of the best games I've ever played, and that's why I won, Game of the Year last year. So I'm going to punch right into the main part of our podcast, which is Overwatch. So for those of you who don't know what Overwatch is Blizzard's newest first-person shooter. The way I look at it, Overwatch, it's an objective-based game. It plays extremely fast. It's very, very, very fast-paced. It's Call of Duty on steroids in my mind. It's not for the type of people if you want to sit in a corner and camp. I mean, this is very objective-based. Like, the games can last, anywhere between. I think me and Dan and Benny have played a game that lasted 2 minutes legitimately.
About a minute and I think 30 seconds, Danny would say roughly. But the games,
it was a quick one.
It was definitely quick. But there's games that go on.
Yeah, you could have the long battles in there, definitely.
But what do you think though? I honestly don't really pay that. I think I see 10 minutes.
Yeah, I think roughly that's the average.
That's about the average. Yeah, I'd say 10 minutes is about the average. 2 minutes was really if you have a team that doesn't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And if you have those really good matches where they're 20 minutes plus, when you're battling it out for the point, those are the best. Those are the most fun.
We've had some pretty intense games. That's the fun part. You can have some really intense battles over these objectives. So the game launched with 3 basic modes. You got a King of the Hill, attack and defend, and escort. I would say, I think it's about 2 to 3 maps each?
It's about right. This is the type of game, if you're not into shooters, do not go for this one. You will not like it. You won't have a good time. You will probably get destroyed the whole time, and you'll just be frustrated because you're not going to know what's going on, and someone's going to come out of nowhere behind you and kill you.
I was one of those guys at first.
One thing I would like to add to that is if you're playing it on PC, stay with the keyboard and mouse.
Yeah. Hands
please just save yourself, because I love the controller. I picked it up for this game. This game is way too fast-paced for a controller. You just don't move as fast with the analog sticks compared to your mouse, and the accuracy compared to like a Widowmaker. You have to land headshots, but it's so hard because everyone's strafing in this game.
Yeah.
And just trying to land a headshot with the controller, it's so slow, and you're gonna most likely die. Mouse, keyboard, PC, Elite, hands down. Just stay with that. Don't, what if I use this? Don't do it. I'm just going to tell you that right now.
So now, it's got to be a lot easier to snipe with the keyboard and mouse, right?
Oh, hands down.
Hands down. It's a lot easier.
So like when Blizzard came out and said, they said, there was a talk about cross-platform. And what they came out and said was if they were going to do it, it would be between the Xbox and the PlayStation. They said they would not do it between the PC. The PC has a clear advantage, and we tested it out. We spent a little bit of time testing it out. Like the reaction time, you being able to spin around and like do things, it's way easier on the keyboard and mouse.
Yeah, because I was gonna say that was like one of the main problems with Destiny. When Trials of Osiris comes, everyone uses a keyboard and mouse, and you can snipe so much easier with that.
I mean, it's always gonna be it's always gonna be an issue with that, and that's the whole issue between keyboard and mouse and controller. I mean, I think some games the controller works really well. Like when we played the Division, I felt the controller felt better on the Division, but the keyboard and mouse, hands down for this game, 100%. I would highly suggest it.
PS4, people play with the mouse and keyboard on Destiny?
Yeah, there was a hack apparently that got released that people were using the keyboard and mouse to play Trials, which is why
it's considered a hack. It's considered a third party, but it's not really supposed to be implemented into the game though.
No, but like that's the one thing I like about Overwatch is they have a very strict hacking policy where they'll ban people for things.
Well, that's
and
Blizzard.
Destiny.
That's Blizzard.
Yeah, Destiny is very vanilla, where like you could lag switch, which is knocking your internet down to a peg, so you have an advantage over everyone, and you can get like 30 people reporting you in a day, and Destiny won't do a thing about it.
Yeah, I mean, Blizzards are pretty much on top of it. They were going out banning people right away.
They're giving permabans for this one.
Yeah, they didn't mess around when it came
unless there's a crazy thing going on. I don't know if Bungie would do much.
Nah, not at this point in the development cycle for Destiny. So pretty much the way Overwatch plays, it's not typically like, Call of Duty or like, Battlefield where, when the kills are really the main objective. Like kills help out. I've had a game where I've had 60-something kills and nothing happened. We still lost. So the game is legitimately more about team composition and working together. There's like an issue like, and this is where right now I had a problem with the way the game released. The game didn't release with ranked, so I had an issue with that because you get a lot of people who don't want to work together. I mean, I can say Dan, Benny, we've had so many games that we've had multiple of the same people, multiple Tracers, multiple Reapers. I'm like, hey guys, like there are other characters, we can make this team comp more dynamic to win.
And a lot of people don't want to play the healers.
Yeah, I mean, I main support, like I got like 36 hours on Mercy, so because nobody wants to play a healer. And the healers are pretty much the most OP characters in this game, without a doubt.
So have you guys had the troll teams yet where you go in and it's like 6 base?
Oh no, we've done a troll team.
Oh dude, we've had
that
was a fun. That's fun though. Like that's
fun
to do. But like when ranked comes out, you're definitely not going to be seeing any of that. What people need to start understanding is utilizing your character and her alts with other characters. For example, like a Tracer, her alt is like some pretty cool sticky bomb, like a C4. You stick it on somebody and it explodes. You kill multiple enemies, but it's so small range that it doesn't hit everyone. I don't know.
It's got a really small radius.
There you go. But if you use it with what was it, Danny? Who was the lady? The Zyra?
Yeah, with Zarya.
Zarya has an alt that just brings everyone together. Now, if you guys like team it up and like get in like Skype, Discord or something, and you
even
guys
talk in the game. A lot of people don't even talk in the game.
Yeah, they provide you with an in-game voice over IP, and that's one of my biggest complaints is that nobody talks in the game. All right, like I don't know what's going on with the consoles. Like, I mean, I know, for example, on my Xbox, I got a headset that came in. I don't know about the PS4, John. I mean, you have a PS4. They came with a headset, right, inside the game.
It came with this little crappy headset, but
it's still a headset.
It worked.
Right. Like, on the PC, I mean, anybody, you could buy a $20 headset and nobody talks, and that kind of ruins the flow and dynamic because sometimes, you need to call out like, hey,
Especially in a game like this. It's so objective based, it's so team based. You need the right team comp.
It's fast.
And people don't talk. People don't even say anything. Most people don't even type in the game. You could ask someone, hey, we need a healer. Can someone go healer? And no one answers. Everyone just plays whatever they feel like playing.
Yeah.
And it forces us to go into healer.
I mean, I have nothing wrong with healing, but it's very weird how everyone, it's just like MMOs. Nobody wants to play the tank or the healer. Everyone wants to go DPS, which is fine. But I think that it's not me complaining. I think that people should be more open to playing all the characters and be very well with other characters.
I think it's just funny how everyone's complaining about how the gameplay is, but meanwhile, it's just everyone wants to be the main person who wins the game.
And I got nothing wrong. You paid $60 or whatever for the game. You want to play whoever you want to play. That's cool, but it's also other people are playing. It's a team game. So I don't know if anyone's kept up on it. They had a little balancing issue right now with McCree and Widowmaker. There was an issue with...
They're actually nerfing them.
No, they already nerfed them already.
They already did the nerf, I think, 2 days ago?
Yeah.
But I feel like, okay, the Widowmaker, it's not cheese, it's a lot more skill, but yes, I will agree that the body shots were doing a lot of damage, but I still see a big discrepancy with the headshots. Like sometimes I would ding some, that's my favorite character. I have 16 hours on Widowmaker. I love just headshotting everyone. But the thing is though, I'm just starting to see that people are like getting like that 10 HP of dying, and then I just get killed by a random Hanzo or something.
I think also goes to rate with the tick servers. I think you were mentioning that before, Dan. We're talking about off the air.
Unfortunately, the way it is now, you could snipe someone and you miss. On their screen, they're seeing something different. So a lot of times, it looks like someone's in front of you. On their screen, they're further back. So it's kind of ruining it a bit in that way. They're probably working on something with that. It does ruin a lot of kills for you, but it's still, you get past it.
I mean, it doesn't happen often, though. Sometimes
it does not happen often.
Yeah.
You figure it out, too, when it does happen, so it's not a big deal.
I mean, overall, it doesn't ruin the game experience that well, that bad for me. Like, I noticed that, but it's good. I think overall the characters are pretty balanced. I know I don't really have, I think McCree was the biggest issue I had. He was able to burst down tanks, and they fixed that. So he's not able to insta-give tanks in one combo, which is
That was a huge issue. I noticed that yesterday when I was playing. I play as, my favorite character is Roadhog. I hit those pulls like I'm playing an MLG. And it's, I mean, at that point, McCree would stun me with his flashbang and kill me instantly. And this time it took him 3 fan hammers to kill me, which normally it does not.
Yeah, it's like normally 1 and you're...
It takes him at least 2 if he headshots me a couple times, but it took this guy probably 3. And it happened over and over, so it wasn't like one time.
Well, the McCree thing, I'm actually kind of happy that they did. In general, he's just a McNoob, I feel like, because majority of the McCrees that I go against are always like in the corner, and they will just E, which is his flash grenade, and will stun you and just fan of hammers, which is like the right click, every time.
That's also that Call of Duty mentality, which you gotta remember. Like,
and that's what gets me actually a little bit aggravated, because I would play like a Symmetra, and if you guys don't know who she is, she's a woman that basically just sets up turrets, puts out a teleporter, and just gives shields to the players. And
she's got a pretty OP weapon, though. Her main hand can pretty much wreck you, though.
But that thing is, though, it's
you got the range, though, on that weapon. You gotta get up on them.
She has 200 life with a little bit of a shield.
Yeah.
And unless you're just like face to face with a character and they don't notice you, you will kill them. But McCree, for example, if you're going against a McCree, he'll just flashbang you and then just like, no joke, 4 bullets in and I'm already dead with Symmetra. And like Symmetra's just, she's a great character. You need to be face to face with her. At least give her a little bit more of a distance. But McCree in general is just, he is so overpowered in the game.
I mean, I think he's in a good place. I think he's in an okay place now. I think he's still strong, but
He's very strong with a single shot too, though.
He's supposed to take out like tracers.
And he's strong against the offensive heroes. Now against the tanks, it's not as much.
Yeah,
Before he was just strong against everyone. Didn't matter, tank, whatever you were. He was.
I know the nerf that they did was immense on McCree. Like, people are actually a little annoyed by it.
But you know what? That's everybody, though.
I feel like he's still pretty good, though.
That's how it is. Everybody has the flavor of the month.
I've only had McCree, I think playtime like an hour and like some odd minutes. I feel like every time I play with him, I do get like 2 or 3 golds. He's not that hard of a player to play. He's a fun character to play.
I mean, not to mention his ult, if you line it up, you're headshotting everyone with one.
Oh, dude,
yeah. That's a really good ult. I mean, if you get it off.
Somebody on, I think, is it Numbagi, Danny? Is that the weird one that, with the...
It's something like that, yeah.
And you basically just flank them and you go around them while they're escorting that, you could just kill the whole entire team with his ult. And they would just sit back in their chair and say, yep, that just happened. We've had that time. How many times has that happened to us? Like a Reaper just comes out of nowhere and just die, and we all just get destroyed.
What's the worst game you guys have played so far? Like you've gone in and you were just like, I'm gonna go to sleep after this.
Oh, dude,
there's a lot. There's a couple of them.
We had streaks that we would lose 4 times.
I've actually gotten off. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to hop on League and go join this toxic community. I love it.
From one to the other.
One to the other. But both communities are just toxic as hell. It's great. It's hilarious.
I don't know if it can get as bad as League though. That is but one of the worst.
I can't give you any feedback on that one. I never played that game.
Oh, but you got your little rage in you though too.
Exactly.
Betty.
I would not be able to do it. I'm very sorry. I get so annoyed when I get destroyed by a Torbjorn and I'm just trying to snipe at a sniper and it's just like...
That's one thing I hope that they fix. Like the play of the games in the game. Alright, you're just watching a Torbjorn just sitting there smacking
Well, we had our friend, he got play of the game while his guy was dead. His turret was killing everyone while he was dead and you just see his body laying there as play of the game. It was amazing.
It was great. I mean, so what do you guys?
That's how it's gonna be, though. I guess I don't know.
So what do you guys want to see in the game as it's coming up in the future? I mean, it's only been out for less than a month. Besides the rank, maybe they fixed the server issue a little bit. I mean,
they're working on some stuff from what I hear.
I need to get a life.
Definitely the rank. The server issue, I heard they're trying to go into some type of, you can choose what type of server you go into, almost like a Counter-Strike thing, which would be amazing.
How would that work though? Jumping in and out of games though, Dan?
Well, I mean, it would automatically switch you, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I don't know if it would be in and out. I think it would be more of you choose a server that's better for your ping, I would think. Something like that.
Do people buy servers now? Because I remember there were other games where you could just buy your own servers to have people jump in.
Yeah, that was like old school Counter-Strike. I mean, they still have something similar to that in Counter-Strike. If you want to do the public servers, stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't think they do that, and they're gonna do that in Overwatch though. Because I think Blizzard wants to control that, and that's fine. Like that's their game, and they want to make sure that everything works right.
Which is understandable. Like I would want my game to work right as well if it was.
I mean, pretty much overall. Also, too. Before I forget, the game also there are microtransactions in the game. So for those of you not familiar what they are, you could pretty much spend real money to buy stuff. Everything that you can buy in the game is not really game changing. You buy these loot boxes. I mean, I've opened up like $100 worth, and all it is really it's a bunch of cosmetics and like sprays and emblems. Really, nothing game changing. It does nothing for the game besides make you look different.
It's all about the gamble.
Yeah,
that was like the pre-order, like when you got the wings for Diablo. People just love that stuff.
Well, that was the only reason why I bought the game. Because I originally played the beta and I disliked it, and then it's like, you know what? I want the wings for Diablo, so I bought the game on Digital Deluxe. And I was like, okay, this game's actually not bad. So it took me 2 times to play it, and then I started liking it. So what do you guys think? What do you guys have to rate this game if you had to give it on a scale of 1 to 10? I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm gonna give it a 9. I'm gonna say the issue with not the rank being there, and maybe some of the issues with the tick rate. I mean, that it's not really that much. I wish there was more characters and more maps too. Like to me,
did anyone ever do the calculations on how many maps there were? So I never did.
I think there's about 2 or 3 maps for every game type. So you gotta look at about 10 or 12 or something like.
You think so? Oh, actually, there is a lot of maps, Ed. There's like 15 maps.
Well, like I mean, you play it when you think about playing on both sides when you're thinking about it. I mean, what I'm saying is, I think I wish there was more maps. I think maybe like 20 maps. I think would have been really good because you do see the same map sometimes over and over. I think we've had Route 66 like 4 times in a row.
Yeah, you know what? When you go in and out of games, because it automatically will bring you out of games and put you into a different server where it's full, something like that, whatever it is. Those are the times where you can be playing the same map over and over and over and over. And I even said it yesterday that we were playing the same map, and there were other maps we haven't even played all day.
That
definitely happens a lot.
Japanese map, right? Was that the one you were talking about, Danny?
Yeah,
Palace or
the one you're in China, yeah.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten that recently. We got a lot of the Numbagi and all that stuff, but.
All right, so I gave it a 9. What about you, Benny? What do you give it?
Oh, dude, I can't say it. I'm at 103 right now. I love the game. I personally, in the beginning, didn't want to buy it. I hated the game. I hated the way it was like, I just didn't like those type of games. And then I purchased it, and I can't stop playing it. I give the game, I honestly think a 9.5.
Okay. What about you, Dan? What about you?
I would go with 9 myself. They didn't have the tick rate issue, like you said. If they would have released, I mean, I understand they don't want to release rank ranked the way it was because they felt like it wasn't at that level, and Blizzard is always at that top level of things. They rarely ever will release something that's half-assed. So definitely I can see that, but I would still go with a 9 on this one.
What about you, John? I mean, you played the beta, and so what'd you think? What would you get if you had to give it on the state from when you played it? What would you have given it?
I would give it a 9.5 based on the beta, but I actually got to try it out on the Xbox with my brother because he bought it.
Okay.
And it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I thought it's one of those games, like you said, that you have to be willing to jump out of your main character or else you guys are going to lose really quickly.
Yeah. So, with that being said, we're going to end this podcast right over here. This is the end of episode 3. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Facebook. And if you have any questions, concerns, or want to help us pick the next topic, please feel free to shoot us an email at afewgoodnerds@gmail.com. I'm going to say that again, afewgoodnerds@gmail.com. We look forward to hearing from you. And with that being said, adieu.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.